MyBusinessMobile, first phone call to final invoice. When the phone call comes in, someone would add a new contact. This new contact will be a client. We will name him Bob, the new client. His address is 123 Street in Stowe, Ohio. His phone number is 800-555-1212, and that's enough information for now. Now once that information has been loaded in, you can then go down and schedule an appointment. For that appointment, we'll select for Ken to go there, meeting with Bob. We could then assign this to a tracking of him, Bob the new client. The date will be Friday the 30th. The start time is 3 p.m. End time is 4. The appointment, Bob wants a new mailbox. And submit. Now, if I was to go to my calendar and I would look on my calendar for the 30th, I see that it has turned red. If I select that day, I will see that I have an appointment at 3 o'clock to meet with Bob, and he wants a new mailbox. In the description, you can also add the address so that on the mobile device you can select that and it will immediately take you to a map. So you can enter as much information as you want, descriptive wise, depending on how you and your office works. So now once I have met with Bob, I understand the scope of the project and I'm going to put together an estimate. So I'm going to add a new project. The client is Bob, the new client. Project name, I generally put the homeowner's name, the address was street, and then new mailbox. However, whatever status or style that you want to use for tracking as your name. I would then say that this is a pending job. We don't have the approval yet. We can use the client's address for the project address, so we don't have to type in everything again. And version 4.5 has 2 invoice systems. Version 5 has 3 invoice systems. So we use this very simple one. It's called create an invoice, then expense items, and we'll see how simple that is to create the invoice. So I'm going to submit this information. I'm not going to fill out all this, that's in a later video, but for simplicity's sake, we've now created a project, and I will now go to the contract tab, and you can see that my default text has come through that I can then go and edit. And on this particular job, I'm going to change the name to Bob. Here's your proposal, and it's going to be all simple from that. So I'm going to say install new mailbox is the scope of the work. For the down payment on this job, the whole job is $200. So I can just delete all that information. I don't need to have all that extra information, and so I can submit that. Now my text is set up for this particular project. I just need to add an expense item. The expense item is how this system tracks the expenses. So I'm going to call this labor and materials, install new mailbox. And I will say I will remove the existing box to install new. It will be fixed price, but you also have the opportunity to make an allowance, which would be time and materials, and we're going to say it's $200. We then choose our invoice, which is a default one that has been set up for us, contract invoice. So now, at this time, my contract is ready. I could look at a print view, and you can see here that the contract is ready to go, and my default terms and conditions associated with this particular state and how it works, everything here is ready to go. I also, at this time, have my invoice is completely set up. So I could at this time actually print my invoice and take it with me to the project, or I could go and do the work. I could print it and mail it to him, or I can email it to him. Either way, it's ready to go. It's really that simple, from the first phone call to the final invoice.